Here, I'll give everybody a cardio kick.
What's up, YouTube? We are back with another video about Marathon. We are getting very close to the server slam and also the release dates, so what better time to dive a little bit deeper into the runners, right? We will be going through each and every one of them and talk about their abilities and traits. In the background, I am running a clip that was posted by their official YouTube channel where they showcase a team and a rook teaming up together to take out AI enemies as well as runner enemies. As always, if you like what you see, don't forget to like the video and subscribe to the channel. It helps greatly for my content to reach more and more people that are interested in this type of content. Now, let's jump right in. First off, we have Destroyer. The prime ability is Search and Destroy. What this does is basically activates your shoulder-mounted missile pods, launching homing missiles as you deal sustained damage. This immobilizes and deals damage upon impact. It can become very useful if you feel overwhelmed by AI or even runner enemies that might stick very close together, dealing great damage to the whole squad. The tactical is called Riot Barricade. You've probably seen videos of this. It's an energy barricade that blocks incoming damage. This is where the drawback is though. It drains tactical ability energy over time, and if you take damage, it also drains additional energy. So you have to be very tactical when you use it, maybe when you're in a tough spot, cornered, low HP, and you're trying to survive to be able to apply a medkit. For traits, we have Thruster, which you can activate while in air in order to fire boosters that will propel you in the direction you are moving. This can be a very good trait to use, especially when you are chasing a runner that is low HP, making sure you down him and don't give him the chance to heal. The second trait is Tactical Sprint. When you double press sprint, you move faster, but the downside is that it generates additional heat and you need to balance that very well. Again, depending on the situation, whether you are chasing someone or being chased, moving faster can be the difference between life and death. Moving to the next runner, we have Vandal. Vandal's prime ability is Amplify. I can see this one being a fan favorite as it reduces the heat buildup of movement abilities. It also increases movement speed and weapon dexterity. I'm thinking right now about all the sweat lords that like to move fast without the drawback of having low stamina. Cough, cough, arc raiders. They are going to have a field day with this one, okay? The tactical is Disrupt Cannon. It's really interesting because it has two modes. If you press it, your arm turns into a cannon that fires high-powered energy projectiles that deal damage and pushes targets away. If you hold it, you overcharge the cannon, thus greatly increasing the size and damage of the blast. So same as before, depending on the number of enemies you are facing, you might want to dose your tactical for when it really matters. As for traits, we have Microjets. While midair, you can activate it to perform another jump, but you generate additional heat with this move. This can come in handy for those hard to reach spots, maybe where some loot is located, or gaining tactical advantage over the enemy by having the higher ground. The second trait is Power Slide, which gives you a supercharged slide, but as always, it generates additional heat. This can be useful in those situations where a slide into a room can be the unexpected maneuver for the enemy, and you can surprise him and take him out. Same things when you are on the defense, maybe sliding behind a corner can save your life when your HP is low. Alright, the next runner is Triage. His prime ability is Reboot Plus actually. I think this is going to be another fan favorite as it can prove to be very powerful when playing duos or trios, especially if you pair it up with other types of runners. So this one basically gives you the ability to revive crew members and EMPs hostiles. This can be your clutch moment magic wand. Picture this. Your squad is down, but not thirsted by the enemy squad. You maneuver around, do a little bit of a rotation, trying to escape their line of sight, and you come back to your teammates and revive them, giving you an equal battleground again. I can see how this can be annoying for some because it will make the battles last longer, but hey, go for the finish whenever possible. That's my motto. The tactical is Medro. You are basically playing the healer with this one. Deploying the drone restores the health of your squad, recharges shields, and prevents them from bleeding out when they are down. Again, super useful to have, but a big inconvenience when you come against it being used by a squad that actually knows what they're doing. Moving to traits, the first one is Shareware.exe. This allows the medical consumables to be shared between team members with the med drones attached to them, adding insult to the injury, so to speak. Meaning, again, nice to have, but might be annoying when the others do it. The second trait is battery overcharge. This might be a sleeper trait for some, but what it does is basically boost their performance of the weapon. Of course, as everything fun, the downside is you generate additional heat. But think about the advantage you can get by boosting your otherwise basic weapon. You might be able to take down enemies that have higher graded weapons. In addition, if you're using vault weapons and you break their shield, you EMP them. Next in line is recon. Their prime ability is Echo Pulse. Think Bloodhound in Apex Legends. You release a series of sonar pulses that show the location of nearby hostiles. This is really good to have when you're trying to locate the last runner standing in the enemy squad, or when you're just trying to do your missions and not be on the constant lookout thinking there are enemies nearby. Recon's tactical is Tracker Drone. This tracks down the nearby enemies and explodes, creating overheat on any targets caught in the blast. You can use this to get yourself a tactical advantage while your enemies have restricted movement and usage of abilities. Moving to traits, the first one is Interrogation. As you can guess by the name, if you do a finisher on a down player, it also pings his remaining squad. Additionally, if you are being pinged by an enemy runner, you receive a warning display on your HUD. I think a lot of people will be using this one as it gives you the massive advantage of knowing where the remaining players are. For the second trait, we have the Stalker Protocol. This is very useful when you're trying to finish off a weak runner. Breaking their shield leaves behind a lingering holographic trait for a short period of time. So that way you can keep going for that one runner who's trying to be sneaky and maybe shield up. Moving on to Assassin now. The prime ability on the Assassin is Smokescreen. Now, guys and gals, I've seen this one being used quite a lot in the early stages of the alpha and the technical tests. It's very useful and can prove to be the difference between being able to regain in a battle or just going back to the lobby screen. See what I did there? Smoke screen, lobby screen. Anyway, the tactical is called Active Camo, and you guessed it, this helps you become invisible. The caveat here is that if you shoot at other players, take damage, use abilities or consumables, it disrupts briefly your invisibility. Now, I know what you're thinking, this is cheesing a bit, and I agree to some degree. I think this will probably be the go-to runner for a lot of solo players, as gaining invisibility is a huge advantage, especially when you are a loot goblin and you are trying to extract with that big backpack. I know this because I'm a loot goblin as well. The first trait is Shadow Dive. This is a bit similar to the Smokescreen, only it's usable while in the air, throwing the smoke disc into the ground to create a smoke field. Might be useful when you are trying to smoke the extract point with the last seconds counting down. The second trait is called Shroud. Yes, like the streamer. This basically gives you the camouflage system when you enter any smoke field, thus becoming invisible. Even if you have or leave the smoke field, the invisibility still persists for a short period of time. So when you see a lot of smokes in front of you, thrown by the enemies, this is actually good for you. Now let's take a look at Thief. The prime ability on this one is Pickpocket Drone. This will be an ability that many will enjoy for sure. Basically, you deploy a remotely piloted flying drone that has a limited lifespan. With this drone, you can break through windows, ping enemies, and also steal their loot by hitting them with a mechanical whip. Yes, you heard that right. It has a storage box which can store these items. I can see how this can become very important, especially when you are disbanded as a squad and you are trying to help that one mate that is low on health kits, battling AI or another runner somewhere else on the map. The tactical is Grapple Device. Pretty straightforward, you grapple a certain way and you propel in that direction. Very useful in the hands of seasoned players, making the rotational mechanics even easier and getting the drops on those unsuspecting fools. Moving to traits, the first one is X-Ray Visor. What this does is actually highlights the hostiles and containers in the color of the most valuable items they have in their bag. So that way, you can see before you even engage if it's worth the trouble to kill a player or go for that one container in that remote room. I think that's pretty neat. The good thing is that the enemies are not visible through walls, just containers. So for hostiles, you need to have clear line of sight. Last but not least, when you aim at a hostile, you hack their optics, disrupting their vision until you look away. That, of course, if you want to look away. Probably not, right? The second trait is called the finer things. To put it simply, as you store more items in the backpack, like the loot goblin that you are, you gain increased weapon handling and accelerated grapple device recharge rate. I think Bungie's promoting hogging all the loot with this one, and that's not very nice of them, okay? We are almost at the end here, and I saved the best for the last. Yes, the last runner class is Rook. This is the one class that you'll be using mostly when you are down on your luck, coming off a bad streak of failed extractions, when you just want to play around and go in a match strictly for the vibes, or do a zero to hero run. The caveat with this one is that you can progress your faction missions while you are playing Rook. You don't have traits, you can't bring anything into the raid as you are given a starter kit, and you spawn in during a gaming progress. I think they also added a solo queue for this, so you don't have to play as a Rook only against trios as it was before. That sounds a bit depressing, I guess, but mark my words, your Rook runs might turn into one of the greatest runs in terms of loot extracted. Coming in, halfway through, runner's already dead, your empty backpack is there, match made in heaven. But I digress. The prime ability is recuperation. This helps you to slowly restore health. This is interrupted when you take damage, so make sure you do this without being visible to your enemies. The tactical is signal mask. This comes in handy when you're trying to sneak past UESC forces, as it activates a temporary holo display mask to deceive them. If you run or take damage, this is disrupted. Well, there you have it, folks. A lot of info to unpack, a lot of choices for when the game launches. Let me know in the comments below, what are you planning on maining the marathon? Or if you're trying to spread out your talents with different runners, tell me about that as well. I'm curious to hear more about it. Until next time.